My name's Rowan, and for years I believed love worked like a receipt. Put in enough hours, enough sacrifice, enough exhaustion, and eventually someone would look at you and say, "Yes, you're worth it." Ha ha ha, yeah. I was very wrong. Before I go any further, please like this video and listen to my story till the end, and let me know which city you're listening from. That way, I can see how far my story has traveled. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand why that matters to me. Christmas Eve started with a drive that felt like a warning. The interstate was slick with black ice, slush snapping under my tires, the kind of road that makes your shoulders creep up to your ears. My hands were tight on the steering wheel, knuckles pale, heart thudding. Outside was chaos. Inside my car, though, inside was warmth, safety, control. I was driving my pride and joy, a car I had clawed my way toward for 5 long years. And when I say clawed, I mean instant noodles for dinner, so often I stopped tasting them. I mean 80-hour weeks as a product manager until my eyes burned and my head buzzed nonstop. No vacations, no dates, no life. Just work, sleep, repeat. That car wasn't just a car. It was proof. Proof that I had escaped the gravity of my childhood. Because growing up, I was invisible. You know the kind of kid people look through? The one who exists only as background noise? That was me. In my family, all the light bent toward my younger sister, Ivy. Ivy laughed, and the room laughed with her. Ivy cried, and alarms went off. I succeeded, and silence followed. As I exited the highway and turned onto the familiar winding roads toward my parents' suburban house, my stomach tightened. That old anxiety crawled up my spine, the one that whispers, maybe this time will be different. Maybe they'll finally see me. Maybe success will earn me a seat at the table. The house looked like a postcard. Twinkling lights. A massive wreath. Everything polished, perfect. I parked carefully, checking the curb twice, grabbed the stack of wrapped gifts from the passenger seat, expensive ones, because apparently I still thought generosity could buy approval, and stepped into the biting cold. The door swung open before I could knock. My father, Martin, stood there. He didn't hug me, didn't smile. His eyes slid past my face and locked onto the car behind me. "Good," he said. "You're here. Give me the keys." I blinked, cold air burning my lungs.
"Hi, Dad."
"Merry Christmas to you, too." "The keys," he repeated, hand already out. "I'll move it into the garage. Plows coming later." For half a second, just half, a warm little spark lit up in my chest. He wanted to protect it. Protect something of mine. Ha ha ha, wow, I was desperate. "Sure," I said, fishing the fob from my pocket. "Just be careful with the clutch. It's sensitive." He snatched the keys fast. Too fast. "I know how to drive. Go inside. Your mother's waiting." I didn't see him pull the car into the garage. I didn't see him make a phone call the moment the door shut. I walked right into the house smiling like an idiot, carrying gifts, dragging luggage, completely unaware I was stepping into a trap. Dinner was tense. That's the polite word. My mother, Elaine, had cooked a feast like she was auditioning for sainthood. Roast beef, mashed potatoes, multiple pies. And at the head of the table sat Ivy, glowing, effortless, beautiful in that way that makes you feel like you're shrinking. "I just feel so trapped," Ivy sighed, poking her food. "My apartment is suffocating me. I can't create content there. My engagement is dropping. It's really hurting my mental health." My mother reached across the table, stroking Ivy's hand like she might shatter. "I know, sweetheart. It's not fair. You have such a gift." I swallowed wine, keeping my mouth shut. I had paid Ivy's apartment deposit 6 months earlier when she cried about being homeless. She'd never paid me back. Not even a thank you. Ha ha ha, clown behavior on my part, honestly. "And you, Rowan?" my dad asked, eyes still on his plate. "Work going okay?" I straightened, hopeful despite myself.
"Yeah.
Really good, actually. We just launched the beta, and I'm up for promotion in February if the numbers hold." "That's nice," my mom said flatly, already turning back to Ivy. "We've been thinking about your housing situation, honey. You need room to grow." "I need a house," Ivy said casually. Then she looked straight at me. The air shifted. Heavy. Ominous. Like the moment before thunder cracks. I slid my hand into my pocket to check my phone, maybe text my best friend Max, just to ground myself. No service. Nothing. I frowned. Is the Wi-Fi down? I asked. Probably, my dad said too quickly. Storm issues. Put the phone away. Be present for once. Something in my chest sank, slow and cold. You know, Ivy added, her voice syrupy. It must be nice to buy whatever you want. That car, do you really need something so flashy? It kind of feels like you're rubbing it in. I worked 5 years for that car, I said quietly. I earned it. Family should help family, my mom snapped. Material things don't matter. You're lucky, Rowan. You forget that. Lucky. That word again. Like the sleepless nights were random. Like discipline was an accident. I excused myself early, claiming a headache. Upstairs, in my childhood bedroom, I lay staring at glow-in-the-dark stars stuck there when I was a kid, tears pooling silently. My phone was dead. My chest felt tight. I told myself I was being dramatic. It was Christmas. They loved me in their own broken way. I fell asleep believing that lie. I didn't know it was the last peaceful night I would ever have in that house. If this is already hitting close to home, tap like, so this story reaches someone who needs it. And seriously, tell me where you're listening from. I'm reading every comment. Because when I woke up the next morning, fully dressed faces were waiting for me. And what they handed me wasn't a gift. It was a receipt for my life being taken apart. Christmas morning light spilled through the windows like a lie. Bright. Cheerful. Almost mocking. I went downstairs in my pajamas, hair a mess, expecting coffee, maybe awkward smiles, maybe forced hugs. Instead, they were already seated. Fully dressed. Alert. Ivy was smiling at me, actually smiling, and that alone made my skin prickle. Merry Christmas, Rowan, she chirped, voice too sweet. Merry Christmas, I said slowly. Where's the coffee? Sit, sweetheart, my mom said, patting the couch beside her. Her eyes were wide. Shiny. There was something frantic there that made my stomach twist. We have a surprise. My dad stood near the fireplace, hands clasped behind his back like he was about to deliver a speech. A big one. Ha ha ha, my heart actually lifted for a second. I hate admitting that. I sat down carefully. Okay, what is it? My mom handed me a white envelope. Not sealed. Just waiting. Open it, she said. It's a gift for all of us. Mostly for you. The gift of letting go. That sentence didn't make sense. None of it did. I pulled out the paper. It wasn't a card. It was a receipt. A wire transfer confirmation. I stared at the numbers until they blurred, then snapped back into focus. $120,000. Transferred to an escrow account. My heart stopped. Restarted. Slammed against my ribs, so hard I thought I might throw up. What is this? I whispered. My mom clapped her hands together, actually clapped. It's the down payment for Ivy's new house. 4 bedrooms. A studio just for her creativity. I looked at the account details. The source of funds. It wasn't my parents' name. It was mine. My brokerage account number. The one ending in 409. That's my account, I said. My voice sounded far away, like it belonged to someone else. How did you? And that's not even the best part. Ivy burst out, practically bouncing. Tell her about the car, Dad. The room tilted. My dad stepped forward, chest out, proud. We sold it. The car. A friend of mine gave us cash. Quick deal. I laughed once. A sharp, broken sound. You sold my car? It's done, he said casually. Between that and your retirement accounts, it was just enough. The words hit one by one. My retirement accounts. I stood up so fast the couch scraped loudly against the floor. You can't sell my car. The title isn't here. It's in my safe. Oh, don't worry about paperwork, my dad waved. We handled it. Handled it? You stole from me, I said. My hands were shaking now. Uncontrollably. You hacked my accounts. That's why my phone didn't work last night. Don't be dramatic, my mom snapped, smile gone in an instant. We reallocated family resources. You're young. You'll earn it back. Ivy nodded, not even looking sorry. I need this now. I reached into my pocket out of instinct, panic surging. My phone.
Right. Dead.
I'm calling the police, I said. My dad moved fast. Too fast. He pulled out a folded document and shoved it into my hands along with a pen. You're not calling anyone, he growled. The bank needs a guarantor. Sign it. I looked down. 30 years. A mortgage for a house I didn't own. For a sister who had never paid a bill in her life. And if I don't? I asked quietly. My mom's voice was ice. Then you're not our daughter. You leave without signing. Don't bother coming back. Something inside me snapped. Not loudly. No screaming. Just a quiet cut, like a rope giving way. I dropped the pen. Okay, I said softly. Ivy gasped. You'll sign? No, I said. Okay, I'm leaving. My mom shrieked my name as I turned away. If you walk out that door, you lose us. I opened it. Cold air slapped my face. Tears froze instantly on my cheeks. I think, I said without turning around, I lost you a long time ago. The door slammed behind me. The driveway was empty. Where my car had been was just bare concrete, like a missing tooth. I stood there shaking, laughing and crying at the same time, because what else do you do when your entire life disappears in one morning? I walked. 3 blocks. Snow crunching under my boots. I ended up at a gas station that smelled like old coffee and regret. I begged the attendant for Wi-Fi, hands trembling so badly I mistyped the password again and again. I opened Uber. $400 to get back to the city.
Payment declined.
Declined. Insufficient funds. They hadn't just taken the big accounts. They'd drained everything. I slid down onto a crate of windshield fluid and pressed my forehead to my knees. I was 28 years old with a 6-figure job and absolutely nothing. Then I remembered something. WhatsApp. It still worked. I messaged Max. Emergency. Parents stole everything.
Sim swapped me.
Stranded.
Please.
3 dots appeared instantly. On it. Send location. Don't talk to anyone. 10 minutes later, a black SUV pulled up. I got in, closed the door, and for the first time that day, I exhaled. Then I cried. Ugly, heaving sobs that made my chest hurt. If your stomach just dropped reading this, you're not alone. Like this video so this story reaches someone who feels invisible right now, and tell me which city you're listening from. I want to know you're here with me. Because the drive back to the city wasn't the end of the nightmare. It was the moment I realized this wasn't just betrayal, it was a crime. And once I understood that, everything changed. The ride back felt endless. For hours of gray highways and blurred snowbanks, sliding past the windows while my brain ran in frantic circles. Every mile peeled something else open. This wasn't impulsive. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This had been planned. You don't sell a car overnight. You don't line up escrow on Christmas unless you've been setting the table for weeks. They didn't invite me home for the holidays. They invited me home for harvest. When the SUV finally stopped, I didn't even ask to go to my apartment. I couldn't. My keys were on the same ring as my car keys. The ones my father had taken. I was locked out of my own life. Max had already booked me a week at a roadside motel. The kind with buzzing lights and carpet that smells like every bad decision ever made there. But it had a lock. And right then, that felt like luxury. I collapsed onto the bed and cried until my ribs hurt. Not just for the money. For the smile on my mother's face when she did it. That smile, haha, it still haunts me. The next morning, Max showed up with coffee, a bagel, and a cheap phone. New number, he said gently. Untraceable. Behind him walked Lena, a corporate lawyer with eyes sharp enough to cut glass. She didn't hug me. She sat down and opened her notebook.
Start from the beginning, she said.
For 6 hours, we dismantled my life piece by piece. Max pulled logs, backups, recovery codes I'd forgotten I even had. Lena scribbled nonstop, occasionally muttering things that made my stomach flip. There, Max said finally, pointing at the screen. Log into your brokerage account at 2:14 a.m. Christmas morning. IP address matches your parents' house. Device ID and iPad. My dad's, I whispered. They wired 85 grand, Max continued. And they liquidated your 401k. Early withdrawal. I laughed weakly. The penalties. Lena didn't laugh. 10% penalty. Federal withholding. State taxes. To get $35,000 in cash, they burned almost 55. They set fire to my future just to stay warm. And the car, Max added. Sold to a dealership for 40 grand. That car was worth 90, I said. They wanted fast cash. Lena closed her notebook slowly. This isn't a family dispute. This is identity theft, wire fraud, and grand larceny. Prison-level charges. She looked straight at me. Do you want her money back, or do you want to protect your parents? I thought about the guarantor paper. About sign or leave. About how easily they erased me. I want it all back, I said. Then we go nuclear. The police station smelled like disinfectant and judgment. Saying the words out loud felt surreal. I'd like to report identity theft and grand larceny. Amount exceeding 150,000. The officer stopped typing. Looked up. I handed over everything.
Times. Logs.
IP addresses. Evidence. It felt like signing my family's obituary. Once the report was filed, Lena moved fast. Calls to banks. Fraud departments. Regulation E. Account freezes. Then the final blow. A letter to the escrow company handling Ivy's house. Stolen funds. Active investigation. Return immediately. When we hit send, my hands were shaking so badly, I had to sit down. That night, the silence was heavy. No calls. No messages. I felt hollow, like I had cut off a limb to save my body. You did the right thing, Max said quietly. It feels like I orphaned myself, I whispered. No, he said. They did that. 2 days later, curiosity got the better of me. I made a fake account and checked Ivy's social media. There it was. A photo of her, my parents, a giant cardboard key, standing in front of a beautiful house. The caption made my blood boil.
Blessed.
Family first. Sad when people choose selfishness. She called me toxic. Jealous. I laughed. Then I cried. Then I opened my laptop. I went to Reddit. I typed everything. The glass child.
The theft.
The smile. The ultimatum. Am I wrong for pressing charges? 10 minutes later, the internet answered. Hundreds. Then thousands. This is a crime. Destroy them. This made me physically sick. For the first time, I didn't feel crazy. I wasn't selfish. I was abused. If you've ever been told you're too sensitive or selfish for protecting yourself, hit like. And tell me where you're listening from. I want to know how many of us there really are. Because while strangers were backing me up online, the real world was about to crash down on my family, and when it did, they came for me. The call came while I was sitting in Lena's office, staring at a wall I didn't recognize anymore. My burner phone buzzed. Unknown number. Same area code as my parents. I didn't answer. A voicemail followed. Then another. Then another. Finally, I pressed play. It was Ivy. Her voice wasn't sweet now. It was sharp, cracked, unraveling. What did you do? She screamed. The realtor just called. The money is gone. They locked us out. Fix this. You're ruining my life. I listened without blinking. Lena leaned back in her chair and smiled. Not kindly. Not gently. The kind of smile sharks probably have right before they circle. It worked, she said. The bank clawed the funds back before closing. The deal's dead. I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. It came out half laugh, half sob. Ha ha ha, wow. After everything, that was the sound of relief. An hour later, an email hit my work inbox. The one account they couldn't touch. From my mother. Subject: please read. Emergency. She wrote like the world was ending. Your father's accounts are frozen. Even payroll. We can't buy groceries. The police called him.
Please stop this.
You're taking it too far. We are family. Over money. I read that line 3 times. Over money. I forwarded the email straight to the detective. Exhibit B. Then came the flying monkeys. Relatives I barely spoke to suddenly found my socials. Accusations.
Shame.
Ungrateful. Heartless.
Cold.
I muted them all. Then things turned terrifying. I was packing at the motel when pounding shook the door. Rowan, I know you're in there. My father's voice. My blood ran cold. How did he find me? I whispered. Then I remembered. A shared location from years ago. A safety feature turned into a weapon. He kicked the door. I dialed 911 with shaking hands. My father is trying to break into my room, I said. He's aggressive. You owe me, he roared through the door. Unfreeze those accounts. I don't owe you anything, I screamed back, tears streaming. Sirens wailed in the distance. He ran. When the police arrived, I was on the floor, hugging my knees, shaking like a leaf. That wasn't a father outside my door. That was a man who had lost control of his victim. I called Lena. Get the restraining order, I said.
Now.
Days passed. Then silence. Then a text. My mom wanted to meet. Public place.
Just coffee.
Just talk. Mother and daughter. Max shook his head. It's a trap. I know, I said. But I need her to talk. I wore a heavy coat. My phone recorded everything. She looked older. Smaller. She cried immediately. We just wanted to help Ivy, she sobbed. So you robbed me? I asked quietly. Then the truth spilled out. The house wasn't for Ivy. Not really. My father had debts. Gambling debts. Dangerous ones. They planned to buy the house, mortgage it, pull the cash out to pay what he owed. I wasn't just the glass child. I was collateral. And the car? I asked. She whispered it. Forged signature. Bribe at the dealership. That was enough. I slid a paper across the table. My terms. Sell the house. Pay me back in full. Public apology. Plead guilty. Never contact me again. She called me a devil. I stood up. Then he goes to prison. I walked out. Max texted immediately. Audio crystal clear. The confession was gold. If your heart is racing right now, you're feeling what I felt. Like this video if you believe protecting yourself isn't selfish, and tell me where you're watching from. I need to know I'm not alone in this. Because the internet wasn't done, the law wasn't done, and the final fallout was about to burn everything they built and set me free. The internet moves faster than justice, but sometimes they collide. I didn't dox anyone. I didn't encourage anything. But people connected dots on their own. Screenshots traveled. Questions spread. And once the truth cracks the surface, it doesn't stay buried. Ivy's sponsors vanished one by one. A skincare brand posted a clean, icy statement about not supporting financial abuse. Her comments filled with words she'd never had to face before.
Thief. Fraud.
Liar. Ha ha ha, the irony was brutal. My father's employer placed him on leave. You can't work in logistics when wire fraud is on your record. The call from my mother came late, shrill, shaking. Are you happy? She screamed. You destroyed us. You did that, I said quietly. Then I hung up. The legal system moved slowly, but it moved. With the recordings, the logs, the paper trail, the district attorney didn't hesitate. My father took a plea. Felony record. Probation. Court-ordered restitution. They sold the house. The one they had valued more than me. After debts and damage, there was just enough left. The money hit my account on a Tuesday morning. I stared at the screen and laughed. Then I cried. Then I just sat there breathing. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like finally unclenching a fist I'd held my entire life. I bought a different car. Sensible. Quiet. I didn't need armor anymore. I'm in therapy now. We talk about grief for people who are still alive. We talk about boundaries. About choosing yourself without apology. Sometimes, late at night, doubt creeps in. Maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I should have swallowed it. Then I remember the pen on the floor. Sign or leave. I chose me. And now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments. And if you've dealt with something similar, share your story. You're not alone. Subscribe for more stories about standing your ground and reclaiming your life. So, what would you have done? Would you have protected the peace or protected yourself? Because sometimes choosing yourself is the bravest thing you'll ever do.